Jessica Patel, born in 1983, was the eldest of 6 children and was known for her nurturing nature, calm demeanor, and gentle spirit. Her compassion and desire to help others led her to study pharmacy at De Montfort University and later at Manchester University. During her time at De Montfort, Jessica started dating Mitesh Patel, a childhood acquaintance. Both Jessica and Mitesh shared similar backgrounds and aspired to become pharmacists. They found commonality and companionship in each other. However, they briefly separated for reasons unknown, only to rekindle their relationship later. Jessica, a hopeless romantic, dreamed of her own love story, which began to materialize with Mitesh. At the onset of their relationship, Jessica's mother fell seriously ill, which deeply affected her. During this challenging time, Mitesh provided unwavering support. Their relationship flourished thereafter, and Jessica knew Mitesh was the one for her. In 2009, Jessica and Mitesh got married. Post-wedding, they lived with Mitesh's family before relocating to Linthorpe, Middlesbrough for a fresh start. Here, they purchased and jointly ran the Roman Road Pharmacy. They also bought and renovated a nearby house on the avenue. The couple quickly became integral members of the new community, earning the affection of the locals. Despite their popularity, they maintained a private personal life. Everything seemed to be going well, and they were ready to start a family. Jessica was eager to become a mother. However, they encountered fertility issues, and Jessica underwent several IVF treatments, resulting in multiple frozen embryos at a clinic. Despite the strain this put on their relationship, Jessica and Mitesh continued to present a united front to their family and community. May 14, 2018 started as a typical day for the Patels. Mitesh worked the early shift at the pharmacy and later went to the gym. Jessica's father visited the shop while she was there, and they chatted and laughed, making plans to meet the following week. After work, Jessica went home, and Mitesh arrived shortly after at 8:20 p.m., having picked up pizza for dinner. It was then that Mitesh made a 999 call.
It's emergency.
Oh, hiya. I think we've been burgled and my wife's been attacked.
What's the address?
We're on the avenue in Middlesbrough, Linthorpe.
Right, is that where your wife is now?
Yeah, well, I've just come home. I was just out. I went to get something to eat and see the lads at work and get my laptop.
Yeah.
I come home and the house is ransacked. And she's just on the floor. She's got duct tape all over her and she's like unconscious.
Right.
Shall I take the duct tape off her?
Can she breathe?
No, because
Take the duct tape off her then.
Please, can you send someone?
Yeah, I am. Can I take your name, please?
My name's Mitesh.
Okay.
I can't get it off her.
I'm going to get someone straight out, okay?
How long will they be?
I'm going to get them travelling on blue lights and we're going to get an ambulance straight out as well. Okay. You said is your wife breathing? Can you feel a pulse?
I can't feel anything. Her hand's really cold.
How long have you been out of the house?
About an hour.
What's your wife called, please?
Jessica.
Listen, we've got police travelling down now. Okay? We've got police travelling down now.
Yeah, I've got the duct tape off her. It was on her legs, like by her ankles and on her arms and tied, like she's been tied up. But her hands are really cold.
Are there any marks on her at all?
Well, I can see marks on her neck, like really dark neck.
She's been tied up by her hands, and also tape around her legs.
Yeah.
And marks around her neck.
Yeah. She's got like blood on her nose and like stuff dripping out onto the floor.
And she's non-responsive.
Oh, Jess, come on, baby, wake up.
Despite the best efforts of emergency services, Jessica tragically passed away at the young age of 34. The police promptly secured the crime scene to preserve any potential evidence and minimize contamination. They then started their inquiries into the events leading up to the murder. Mitesh explained that Jessica had worked late that day until 7 p.m. before heading home. He had returned home earlier from the gym. but realized he had left his laptop at the pharmacy and went back to retrieve it. He also picked up a pizza for dinner on his way back. He claimed to have been gone for only 30 minutes. Upon his return, he found the house in disarray and Jessica unconscious on the living room floor, her hands and feet bound with duct tape. Jessica's family was notified of the devastating news. They were in disbelief over what had transpired. They rallied together for mutual support and traveled to Linford to comfort Mitish. Natasha was inconsolable, breaking down in tears upon seeing Jessica's sister Manal sobbing on her shoulder. It was a heart-wrenching night for everyone. They had lost a cherished family member and couldn't comprehend why. The police initiated their investigations. They found no evidence of sexual assault and no signs of forced entry into the home, suggesting that Jessica might have known her attacker and let them in. However, they were still unable to determine a motive for the crime. A post-mortem examination was conducted, and it was determined that Jessica's cause of death was asphyxiation. A few days later, while Jessica's family was still in Linford grieving with Mitish, they received a call from the family liaison officers asking them to return home for a meeting. A suspect had been identified, and the police were preparing to make an arrest. On May 17, 2018, Mitish was arrested on suspicion of murdering his wife. The news of the arrest shocked the families and the surrounding community. Jessica and Mitish had led a peaceful and loving life together. No one had anticipated this, especially given Mitish's apparent distress over losing his wife. When the police searched the ransacked home, they discovered a hard drive containing CCTV footage. Normally, the hard drive would be securely stored in a cupboard, making it difficult for intruders to access and destroy it. However, it was found upstairs in the bedroom. The footage began to expose Mitish's lies. It showed Mitish arriving home from the gym at 3:30 p.m., but he didn't leave afterwards. Jessica returned home from work at 7:30 p.m. Mitish left the house at 7:44 p.m. and didn't return until 8:15 p.m. The CCTV was disconnected 6 minutes before the 999 call was made. The first thing the police noticed was that no one else entered or left the house during the time of the murder. This revealed that Mitish had lied about not seeing Jessica after he returned home from the gym. His attempt to erase the footage minutes before calling the emergency services raised further suspicion. Upon further investigation, a suitcase filled with clothes was found under the bed in their home. At the pharmacy, jewelry worth £25,000 and gold bars were discovered in the safe, along with a plastic bag containing £2,000. The evidence against Mitish was mounting, but a motive was yet to be identified. The police needed more evidence to piece everything together. They searched Mitish's and Jessica's phones for additional clues. Through an iPhone health app, a more accurate timeline was established. The app, which can track a user's steps and heart rate, showed that Mitish's movements around the house that night contradicted his story. Jessica's heart rate and steps stopped at 7:04 p.m. Minutes later, Mitish could be tracked moving rapidly around the house, going up and down the stairs. 40 minutes after Jessica's heart stopped, Mitish took her phone outside to stage a burglary. When he returned, the health app showed him climbing the stairs before calling the emergency services. Authorities believe this was when Mitish hid the CCTV footage and called 999. Finally, the police had enough evidence to charge Mitish with Jessica's murder. The following week of the trial shocked everyone in court. It was revealed that Mitish was a frequent user of Grindr and other similar apps to meet men. His family was unaware of this, as he was ashamed to come out. He claimed he didn't want to be stigmatized as a gay Asian man and didn't want to let his wife down. Even the pharmacy staff knew that Mitish was on dating apps, but they kept it to themselves, fearing Jessica would find out. Unbeknownst to them, Jessica was already aware of her husband's extramarital activities. Shortly after their marriage, Jessica discovered that Mitish was having an affair with Dr. Patel. When she confronted him, Mitish assured her he would end it. However, he didn't end the affair and continued seeing Amit for 8 more years. Throughout their relationship, Mitish continually deceived Jessica, assuring her that there was nothing going on between him and Amit. However, Jessica repeatedly caught him in the act. She confided in a family member about the affair and expressed how Mitish was no longer attracted to her. Growing weary of his lies and infidelity, Jessica refused the final round of IVF treatment. Mitish, however, pressured her into continuing the treatments, even threatening to leave her if she didn't comply. These procedures took a heavy toll on her, both physically and mentally, leading her to seek therapy and medication for depression and anxiety. Shockingly, this was all part of Mitish's plan. The reason they couldn't conceive was because Mitish was secretly taking drugs to suppress his sperm count. When Amit moved to Australia, it accelerated the breakdown of Mitish's marriage with Jessica. Mitish not only longed to be with Amit in Australia, but he also wanted to raise a baby with him, planning to use one of Jessica's frozen embryos. Despite Jessica's struggles, few people recognized the signs of the abusive relationship she was in. Moving to Linthorpe provided them with opportunities to grow and start a business, but it also isolated Jessica from her family. She saw less of her siblings and had no one to turn to when things became difficult. Mitish exploited this, knowing that she still loved him and would remain silent about his abusive behavior. But he also knew he couldn't just abandon her and run off with his lover without bringing shame upon his family. He needed another way out of the relationship, and that's when murder entered the conversation. Authorities uncovered more evidence from his computer search history. For years, Mitish researched how to commit murder without getting caught. His internet searches included phrases like, "I need to kill my wife," "insulin overdose," and "plot to kill my wife." Do I need a co-conspirator? His crime was not a spontaneous act, but a well-thought-out plan to eliminate Jessica and escape to Australia. From various life insurance policies they'd taken out, Mitish also stood to profit £2 million from his wife's death. Finally, the details of the murder were revealed. That night, Mitish injected Jessica with insulin to subdue her. He then went about staging the scene of his crime. When he saw Jessica moving, he realized he needed to finish the job and ended up suffocating her with a plastic Tesco bag. Jessica tried to fight back, leaving scratch marks on his neck, but ultimately, she died at the hands of her husband. Mitish even bound her hands and feet with duct tape multiple times. During the trial, the evidence against Mitish continued to pile up. It took the jury only 3 hours of deliberation to reach a verdict. They found Mitish guilty of murdering Jessica. He was then sentenced to a minimum of 30 years in prison.